Continuing our series called Words Mean Things, we're going to talk about something that's a little bit different. And this is, what's in a name? And the name, of course, that we will be discussing is the name of Jesus. So, first, before we start this, I want to say that I am not one of these people who believe that the pronunciation of the name of Jesus or anything like that is a magic word. Some people believe that only if you pronounce it in the original way, then can you have power. I do not believe this. I came to know the Lord as Jesus, and to me, no name will ever make my spirit leap within me than that name of Jesus. And so, the importance of this lesson isn't as stark as some of the others, but one of my missions, one of my goals is to just bring people to a place of understanding, knowing why things are the way they are, what happened to bring us to that point. And so that is the context of this message. Not to say if you don't pronounce the name a certain way, then you're going to hell or whatever. That's not the context of this lesson. So first, the name Jesus did not exist in the time of Jesus. And how do we know this? Because the pronunciation of the name of Jesus, as we use it now, did not begin until the start of America. So, let's work backwards a little bit. First, to understand here how we got to the name Jesus, let's look at what we know is, or what we are fairly certain was his real name, the name that people called him. And that name is Yeshua. There is a little bit of a discussion whether it was pronounced Yeshua or Yehoshua. Some people say that the full word or the full name was Yehoshua, but during that period it was common to abbreviate it a little bit into Yeshua. So that was kind of the general consensus belief that what people called him every day was Yeshua, which is a shortened version of Yehoshua, which nowadays in the English language is the name Joshua. So, now we have the name Yeshua. So how did we get from Yeshua to Jesus? These two don't even really sound the same, do they? So, we've talked about translating sounds so that we pronounce names correctly no matter what language we're using. So that's what they did here. Okay, so let's take this apart piece by piece now. First, Greek. You have to understand, when we transliterate, we have to transliterate to the best of our ability using our own grammar. Okay, our own grammar rules. So the Greek grammar rules of the time did not allow for a name to end with the sound So Yeshua, to transliterate, they would have to remove the So they're left with Yeshu. Okay. So, when they transliterated Yeshu, they went to the first part. Yeah. Okay. They did not have the sound in their language. So the closest they could get to is a. So yeah became yay. Okay. Next, we have shu. They did not have the sh sound of sh in their language, and so shu became su. So Yeshu became Yesu, which is very similar. That was how they transliterated Yeshua to Yesu. And in the Greek grammar of the time, to indicate that a person was a male, at certain times, but not all of the time, the name was ended with an S to indicate male. So Yeshua became Jesus. Yesu, or in some situations, Jesus. Later on, the S was permanently adopted. I don't know why or when exactly, but it stopped becoming a sometimes event and became an all the time event. So pretty much from the writing of the New Testament, the Greek New Testament, the name of Jesus was written and pronounced as Jesus. It was spelled differently in different languages, different cultures, but it was always spelled to reflect the name Jesus. All the way up until America began. And at this point, with the influence of other languages on English, since in America we were having French and we were having other languages influence our English language, and so the J sound became associated with the J, which before in English the J made the Y sound. And so from the French influence, I believe the J became the J sound that it is now. And the U became instead of oo. And that's what leads us to Jesus. From Jesus to Jesus. So that's the progression of this name. Yeshua became Yesu, which became Jesus, which became Jesus. So when you lay it out like that, it's pretty simple, pretty easy to understand. One thing that is important with this is to understand that there is a lot of information out there saying that the name Jesus is pagan, that this comes from Zeus, and that it comes from all of these different influences. This is all garbage. This has no basis in reality, because you can clearly go back through history and you can see the progression of the name, of the pronunciation, and it has nothing to do with Zeus or any paganism. It's just transliteration, and instead of going back And now that we have a language in English, modern English, where we can accurately translate Yeshua into modern English, instead of going back to that original name, we're just continuing with what we've used, which is a transliteration of that which is Jesus, which has then been altered by different language influences to be Jesus. So we can go back and we can change that back to its original name. And if you do that, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But just understand that that's how we got from Yeshua to Jesus, and that there's no conspiracy, there's no evil influence of that name. That's just how history unfolded.